For the Young at Heart is sponsored by Duville Life and Wellness Community, a commitment to care, a legacy of compassion. This is Duville.
Hello, welcome to For the Young at Heart. I'm Lucille Jerome, and on today's program we're welcoming back Lisa Sobhian. She's the Director of Dementia Care Services at Duville Life and Wellness Community. We're going to be focusing on communication with someone with the diagnosis of Alzheimer's or one of the dementias. There's a lot that goes on there, so we have some hints for our audience. And thank you for coming back, and welcome.
Thank you, Lucille. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, lots going on with communication styles and methods, Lisa. Where should we start?
Well, I think, communication is far more complicated than I think we realize in our everyday conversations anyway. When you think about verbal communication, really only 85 to 90%, actually 10 to 15% of our communicating with other people is through our verbal words. The 85 to 90% is through our nonverbal, our gestures, our body language. That's our emotions, intent. That's why sometimes texts or emails can be a little difficult, because you can send somebody a text and think, oh my gosh, what did I say? Why are they mad at me?
Yes.
And they're not.
Exactly.
Because you interpret it differently.
Because you're only seeing the words, not the intent. You're not really seeing the intent or the tone.
You're placing your own there.
Right. Okay.
So communication between two or more people. I mean, we communicate all the time with everybody we interact with all day long, whether it's people we work with, going into the store, neighbors, friends. And we do it so much that we don't even think about it.
Right. We take it for granted, don't we?
We do. We really do. And I think, there's so much to be said for tone of voice. I mean, I can say the same words to you 3 different ways, and it's going to come out 3 different ways. If I say to you, "Hi, Lucille, how are you?"
Oh, hi. Wonderful. Good to see you.
And what message are you getting from me there?
A friendly greeting.
Yeah. Now, if I came over to you and said, "Hi, how are you today?"
Oh my gosh, you just brought my mood down.
I did. Something's wrong, right?
Yes.
I'm being very sympathetic, pitying, and all of that. Or if I even say, "Hi, how are you today?"
Oh boy, I don't know if I want to talk to you after that.
Exactly.
Okay, there you go.
Exactly. So the nuances of communication are so important, and I think when we don't realize that, it can be problematic, because there's so many difficulties that people with dementia have with communication, and more as time goes on in the disease process, that it becomes, you have to really fine-tune your communication. You can't communicate the same way you'd communicate with anybody else.
Okay.
And people, initially will have problems with dementia, possibly forgetting words, finding the right words. They may make up words, and all of that.
So in making up words, they're trying to communicate back to you, but they're not quite comprehending what you're saying. Well, in everyday life that happens too.
Absolutely.
But that's the point you're trying to raise. So we have to try to figure out what's going on with them, knowing that nothing's perfect.
Exactly. And we're not perfect. I mean, I think one of the most important things that I always tell people when I'm teaching about communication is probably the most important basic skill that people need to really work on, because everything we do and every aspect of care we have and interaction involves communication.
Okay.
So you really want to understand communication and understand how communication is effective and affected. And I think sometimes we may think someone isn't understanding because they can't get the words out, but really initially they may just have trouble expressing and getting those words out, and then they get more frustrated.
Right.
Because why don't you understand what I'm saying?
Okay. So they might understand some of what you're saying, but cannot communicate that. They get more frustrated, and you aren't understanding why they're getting frustrated.
And then you're getting
so it
frustrated.
cycles.
It cycles,
Okay,
yes. And
all right.
when somebody doesn't understand you, you get kind of annoyed, right? Like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
People may misinterpret how the words we're saying also, because part of our brain, our ears may be fine, but it's inside part of our brain how we process what we're hearing that may get a little bit distorted. I could say to you, it's hot in here, and all of a sudden you're getting upset and angry, and you're thinking you heard me say, she shot a deer or something. Right. And then I'm thinking, what is she getting upset about? I'm just saying it's hot in here.
Right. Okay. So there's multiple factors. There's the sight, there's the hearing, there's the speech.
Yes.
There's a whole milieu.
Yes.
Okay. Where do we start?
I know, it's so complicated. I think where we start maybe are some basic rules about communication. I think that's sometimes when you start from there, other questions come up and all of that.
Good.
So understanding that people are going to have difficulty understanding what we say is a big deal, I think. I actually have a little activity to demonstrate that. I think now would be actually a really nice time to do that.
Let's try it.
So if you're at home and you're watching, you want to partake with us, run and go get a small handheld mirror and a blank piece of paper and a pen, and you can kind of join along if you'd like to.
Sure.
And I discovered, I think through both of our work that we've done over the years, we've come up with so much information from different places. So I don't remember where this came from, but this was a little activity I was experiencing at a conference, and I thought it was great. So this is not a cognitive test of any sort. This is just demonstrating how complicated communication is. So, Lucille, I think you have a mirror.
I just happen to have a mirror with me.
Now look at the small side. We don't need the magnified side.
Oh, God, no.
Now what I want you to do is here you can have a blank piece of paper and so you're going to take your paper, we're going to put it right down. Nope, you're going to be holding your mirror. Yes. So you are a lefty.
Yes.
So you're going to have your pen in your left hand. If you're a righty, you're going to have it in your right hand. So look down at your paper first.
Okay.
All right. Now what I want you to do is with the mirror in your opposite hand, which is your right hand, I want you to pull it to that same shoulder.
Pull what, the mirror?
The mirror, yep.
Okay.
Bring the mirror back toward your shoulder as far as you can. Okay. Now turn and look into the mirror. But what you need to do is angle the mirror so you can see the paper.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right. Can you see your paper?
I can see the paper.
Okay. So now you can't look down at the paper. You're only going to look at your paper through the mirror.
All right.
All right. So what I want you to do is we are going to draw a house together. I am going to give you a very clear set of directions. Okay? So remember,
We're doing this on television.
Yeah, I know. So remember, don't look down.
Okay.
All right, so first, I would like you to draw a square in the middle of your paper for me.
Whoops.
It's like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh, my.
And then...
Wait a minute. Whoa. I'm not done yet.
That's okay. If you're following at home, look into your mirror, find your paper, and draw a square in the middle of the paper.
There you
and
go.
Don't look down.
Okay.
Now I need, obviously, a roof. So please put a triangle on top of the square.
On top of the square.
On top of the square, because I need my roof.
Oh, my God. A triangle. Oh, gee. Oh, Lisa.
Now, next step, I would love to have a nice big tree on the left side of my house. You can pretend it's spring and it's fully in bloom. All right. And on my roof, please give me a chimney on the right side of my roof.
Okay.
Good job. And then I would like a door and a window inside my house, please, so I can look out and get out. We're almost done.
Almost done, okay. You want a door?
A door and a window.
Do you want a doorknob also?
No, we don't need a doorknob.
Okay, and
Just
a
push it
window?
out and a window, yep.
Okay.
All right, and then finally, please make me a pathway that goes from my front door out to the street.
Oh, this is not easy. You want a pathway
I want a
now?
pathway, yes. I need a pathway, very important.
Oh my God, I gotta find the door, hon. Okay. Okay.
Excellent. All right, so now, let's hold up for everybody and see what you did. Can I have it, please?
No.
All right, so I think it goes this way, right? That's the way you were drawing it.
Where's the top? That's the top.
That's the top. Okay, I don't know if everybody can whoops, wait, now I
Can
have
you
to
see
angle it. There
that?
we go. Can you see that? So it looks like a little cyclone came.
It's called
possibly in
impressionistic art.
Now, as I said, this is not a test of anything. The reason I did this is, first of all, was that easy?
No,
No.
not at all.
Okay, well,
not at all.
I don't.
You want to reverse everything somehow.
Well, I don't know what your problem was, really, because I was being very clear. I gave you very clear,
Yes,
and
you did.
I did. So,
Yes, you did.
so why I do this is to show you that we may think we're being clear, but when we're working with somebody who has dementia, we're giving them instructions, it may be getting jumbled up inside
Right,
their brain.
right.
And so we can never take for granted that what we're saying, they are actually understanding. So you can take that and frame it.
Frame it.
If you want.
Okay, thank you. Will do.
So when we talk about communication, you know, the first thing we want to remember too is always approach somebody calmly and with a smile. Because what happens when we're angry? What does our face look like?
Sort of scrunches up somehow. The
Scrunches.
eyes scrunch up somehow.
Yeah, but do we ever smile when we're angry?
No,
not
not at
usually.
all.
So people also have visual disturbances, and if we're not smiling, it's very possible they may think we're angry at them.
Okay.
So I tell people, if you're not a smiler, go practice in the mirror. Just practice your smiling. And you know, if you come at somebody from behind, you can frighten them or startle them.
Right, yes.
And we don't want to do that, because in everything we're doing, as we talked about in another segment, we want to have people have a positive emotion. That's what our goal is.
Right, right.
So startling them is not going to help with that. So be very aware of our body language
Okay.
and facial expressions, because those speak so much louder than the words, as I said. Sometimes the best way to communicate is, you know, with a gentle touch. That can be very comforting. It shows that you care. Now, be careful. Some people feel threatened by that, so you have to know the person you're talking with.
Sure.
Establishing eye contact. Big rule: if you
That's
don't
right.
have eye contact with the person with dementia, you don't have their attention. And
So eye contact is part of the very beginning
Yes.
stages of communication, the eye contact.
absolutely, and even getting on their eye level. So if someone is sitting, you want to kind of get down to their eye level.
Yes, because otherwise that could feel threatening. They could feel threatened.
They could feel like you're bossing them around too,
Right,
and who
right,
wants to be bossed
right,
around?
right.
Not me. So yes, absolutely. And also the eye contact helps them maintain focus on you. Use the,
The focus, okay. We've talked about, I think the last time we talked about how easy it is to be distracted.
yes.
So the eye contact minimizes distraction.
Yes, along with
Okay.
getting rid of any extraneous
Okay.
loud noises and things like that. Use their name in a friendly way. Can you think of why we want to use their name?
Well, you want, because they will know that you like them, you know who they are.
Yes.
You know exactly who they, she knows my name.
Exactly. She's not a stranger.
That's right.
I had this interesting experience once when I went into the store, and I, you know, this person was obviously a very good salesperson and well trained, and I went to pay and I gave them my credit card. And as I was leaving, they gave me my credit card back and they said, "Well, thank you, Lisa." And for a split second, I thought, oh, they know me. You know, I felt almost important. And then it dawned on me they were looking at the name on my credit card. But it showed me
Yes.
how important it is to
Yeah.
speak to people with their names. Speaking in a calm tone of voice is really important. A loud or angry voice is going to be more frightening than what you're saying, and not
Right.
likely to get somebody
Right.
to do what you need them to do.
Well, I can see where a family member, or perhaps others, if they're having to repeat something over and over again, they might get frustrated. and then they might raise their voice.
Absolutely.
And that only escalates. That's another type of escalation of a problem.
Absolutely.
Instead of trying to just, you maintain the focus too.
Yes,
They're just not getting
absolutely.
it. They're just not understanding, so slow it down a little bit.
That's a really good point, Lucille, because what happens with people with dementia is it takes their brain longer to process information. So normally, if I came up and saw you out on the street and I said, "Hi, Lucille, how are you?" you're immediately going to respond.
Initially I'm going to say, oh, this is great, but it's too much information maybe.
Right, but if it's just you,
If it's
and
just
you
me and
don't
you, that's
know
fine.
dementia, you're
And
just going
focus
to
right on you.
respond.
That's right.
Great, how are you doing? You may say to somebody with dementia, "Hi, how are you?" and they may not respond right away. And it may not be that they're not going to respond. It could be that their brain hasn't caught up with all of the
Right.
words.
Right.
So repeating it is important a couple of times. I always tell people, repeat it the same way, and if they don't get it, then change it. But you have to give time.
Right.
You know, you
Right.
have to give that pause that may feel like an eternity to you, because we're so fast-paced in so much of what we do.
We are fast-paced in our world, aren't we?
We are. And you know, tell them who you are, so they don't think that you're a stranger. So you know, and obviously if you're a family member, they are going to know who you are. But if you're working with people, they may not know your relationship to them. And even family, people will at some point perhaps not recognize exactly who you are. They will still know that there's that connection and you're very much important to them, but they may not necessarily know the actual name or
right.
relation.
Or they might
Think you're
call
somebody
you by
else.
someone else, sure.
Exactly.
Don't get upset by that either.
Right. Especially if people with dementia at some point, they go back in time. And if they think they're younger, so if I think that I am in my 30s, how could I possibly have a son in his 60s?
That's right.
So I am going to kind of substitute what would make more logical sense. Maybe he's a brother or something like that.
Sure.
Speak
These are common occurrences too.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I wonder if families think it's just happening to their particular family.
That's a great
You know?
point, because I think if you're not in contact with other people who are going through it, you might think you're the only one that is
Right.
experiencing this. And everything that we're talking about are things that you and I have both seen over and over again,
Right.
working with people with dementia. And so that's important to know. You're not alone in this.
Right.
Speaking to the individual as one adult to another, not using a childish voice.
Honey bunny.
Honey Bunny. Unless it's a nickname somebody has
Right.
had. But there's also something in the field of geriatrics called elder speak, where you come up to somebody, "Oh, don't you look lovely today?" It's really demeaning. And nobody's doing it to be purposeful. We're being friendly,
Yeah.
but to be aware that can be upsetting to some people because they're adults.
So here's a person thinking they're being friendly, they're making the eye contact, and they're trying to be cute with the person, forgetting that that's an elder person there,
Yes.
just like we are.
Right.
They're in a different place, but they're just like we are.
Exactly. Exactly. So, saying things like, "Oh, you're so cute," or "That's a good boy," or that's just
Oh,
no
gosh.
place for that.
Oh, gosh.
Speaking slowly. Now, I struggle with that sometimes because I come from New York and I'm a fast New York talker. So I typically have to slow it way down.
Okay.
I feel like I'm speaking at a snail's pace right now.
Oh,
This is
my.
not
Okay.
I know, exactly.
All right. Okay.
I am always very aware of that. So the reason we want to slow it down is so, again, people can pick up on what we're saying
Right,
and not
right,
kind of
right.
lose
So
that.
the cadence of the speech is important too.
Yes.
So we've got tone,
Yep.
we've got eye contact,
Yep.
we've got the rate of the speech, the cadence.
The rhythm is important.
rhythm.
So what happens, and I think I might have mentioned this in one of our other segments, but people will first, in terms of language difficulties, start to lose the ability for the real formal speech, understanding the actual words, the semantics, physically being able to get the words out. What retains is the rhythm of our speech. none of us go around talking like this. It's just not
Right.
what we do. That's not
Right.
what we do.
Right.
We have a rhythm to
Right.
our speech, so people will actually retain their own rhythm. They may be at a point where they're talking gibberish, but their intonation is going up and down.
Okay.
I've seen many times two people sitting engaged, looking at each other, and their tone
Very
of voice,
intent.
very intent.
Very
Their
intent.
tone of voice is up and down, and when you get closer, neither of them are making any sense.
Right.
But it's that emotional connection and the rhythm. So that rhythm is very important. So sometimes you may think, you might be a family member, and you might say to your loved one, "Okay, come on, we're going to go take a shower now," and the person says, "Okay." And then when you go to try to help them, they're pushing you away. And you're thinking, but
He just said
okay.
okay.
You're right.
Right.
And it was the rhythm, perhaps.
Yeah. Also, a lot of words in there. We're going to
Too
do
many
this,
words,
and,
yes.
too many steps, and it's like, if they're slow,
Absolutely.
in the terms of processing, it's like, how do they put all of that together?
It is really,
Lisa,
really
yeah,
hard because
right.
when I go out and do some screening, cognitive testing with people,
Mm-hmm.
there's one part where I will ask them to do a 3-step activity. And, I might say, take this piece of paper in your right hand, fold it in half, and place it on the floor. And I know you've done that
Yes.
many times with people too. Those 3 things, someone may kind of forget by the time you get to the third one.
That's right.
So it's so important to chunk information because remember, we want people to be successful.
That's right.
We want them to feel successful and not like they're failing. So if we chunk that up, and also the more you go on, it almost starts to be like in the movies Charlie Brown. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I think sometimes my kids do that. They just think that I'm just
Blah,
going on
blah,
and on.
blah.
But people may not hear your actual words if you're going on and on and on. So
Okay.
please pick up the cup. Things that are very, very simple. And then you'll have a lot more success if you do it in those segments. And especially where people will lose the ability to sequence what they need to do. So if you give them one cue at a time,
One cue at a
they're going to
time.
be more successful.
Okay. So this is basically, I want to look at it now from the caregiver, the family
Okay,
member's point
yep.
of view. They used to maybe speaking rapidly. They're used to mom or dad or grandma or grandpa understanding everything that's going on.
Yep.
And now they're finding they're doing everything they've ever done before,
Oh, yes.
but it's not working.
It's not working. And that
So
can be
it's up
frustrating.
to us to then renegotiate with who we're talking to.
Absolutely. It's
Okay.
almost like you have to
Yeah.
reframe yourself and think, okay, I'm entering their world.
Yes.
I need to learn the language of dementia, the language of Alzheimer's. It's a different language. You need to be fluent in that to talk to people. There's a wonderful book, if I can suggest it
Sure,
to people.
sure.
There's a wonderful book called Learning to Speak Alzheimer's by Joanne Koenig-Kost, and you can get it at the library. And she's one of the pioneers in kind of Alzheimer's care and rehabilitation therapy. And her book, it's an easy read, it's short, and it really talks about how to learn that language of communicating.
Good.
But it's hard. By nature, as people, we're reasonable human beings.
Sure.
Our ability, what do? We reason with each other.
Right.
You can't reason with somebody with dementia. They can't work from logic anymore.
That's a very difficult thing for family members to integrate,
Yes.
and that takes time, I think.
It takes
It's not like
practice
an
and time.
overnight.
No.
Success
It takes
story.
practice, and
Okay.
you're not going to get it right the first time, the
Right,
second time.
right.
Maybe you'll start to get it right a few times.
Right, yeah.
But that kind of interaction of not trying to argue or reason, or thinking if they would just listen harder, they would remember.
Yes.
They can't. That part of their brain is in brain failure. It's dying, so they can't. And especially if you look at somebody and they look fine.
Right.
Well, just listen more.
Right, yeah.
So not
You're not
arguing.
trying hard
You're
enough.
not trying hard. Right.
That's
Just
the line
try
I've heard.
harder.
You're not trying hard
Yes,
enough.
you're just being difficult.
Right.
So we could do a little example here of.
Okay. Okay.
So we're going to do it the wrong way first.
Okay.
All right. And so Lucille is going to
I'll
play
be-
the part of
I'll
the
be-
person
okay.
with dementia, and I'm going to be someone who maybe gets frustrated and show you
Okay.
how this doesn't work. So The scenario is, we just had lunch a few minutes ago.
Okay. I'm hungry. I am so hungry. I haven't eaten all day.
What do you mean you haven't eaten all day? We just had lunch 10 minutes ago.
Why are you lying to me? I haven't eaten all day.
Okay.
I'm starving. Do you want to kill me?
You know, I don't know why you're giving me such, I just made you this huge egg salad sandwich. You had it with some chips and a drink, and you know, I can't keep feeding you all day long. You need to understand, you just remember. Can you just try to remember?
Don't talk to me like that.
Okay, so that was going nowhere fast, wasn't it?
Okay.
Great job.
My daughter thinks I'm a frustrated actress, by the way.
Yes, I can see that. We were going down the rabbit hole very fast.
Very fast.
So let's try a different approach. So
Okay.
let's say, same scenario, we just had lunch, and
Okay.
you're going to tell me,
I'm hungry. I haven't eaten all day.
oh, you feel hungry now?
Yeah.
Wow, what do you
Yeah.
think you might like to eat?
Oh, I don't know. I would love. Oh, I'd love a tuna fish sandwich. Can I have a tuna fish
You
sandwich?
can. You know, when it's time for us to have lunch, I can make that. Would you like a snack right now to hold you over?
Oh, that would be great.
How
that
about
would
some
be
cheese
great.
and crackers?
Cheese and okay, cheese and crackers would be very, very nice.
Fabulous.
Could I have some milk with that or some soda?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel better already.
Oh, good. So now,
I knew you weren't trying to hurt me.
So now that's one way to go about it. You know,
Yeah.
if she doesn't remember that she's just eaten, you're
Yeah.
not going to get her to understand
No,
that.
no.
Maybe she needs a snack. The other thing is too, you know what? I'm cooking lunch right now. Can you help me fold the laundry and it'll be ready soon?
There you go.
So
there's
distracting.
a case where distracting is a good
Absolutely.
tactic.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, maybe the person really has eaten so much and you're worried they're going to get sick. Distract
right.
them. You know, connect with them. Oh, I see that you're hungry. Make that connection with them emotionally, and then kind of redirect them and distract them onto something else. I think that that's important to remember also, that there's a term called fiblet, therapeutic fiblet. So obviously we never want to lie to somebody. But if our goal is to keep somebody
Yeah.
content and happy,
Yeah.
let's say you're asking to see your mother.
I would love to go home and see my mother.
Oh, well, you know, your mother died about 20 years ago.
No, she did. Why would you say that to me?
Because she did. It's the reality.
No. It's not true. I don't like that. Don't talk to me like that. Okay?
So,
Please.
so a couple things are going to happen.
We're going to be winding down.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, let me finish up this
Wow.
list. I can keep talking and talking
I
about this
know,
topic.
I know.
So when you're working with somebody and or talking to them and they're bringing up something like that, like wanting to see their mother, typically people are doing that. They're maybe looking for comfort and things like that.
Yeah.
But we want to keep their emotions positive. So to say, and this only works if someone has no short-term memory.
Okay.
Only. And you really have to know the person, because it doesn't work for everybody.
Okay.
But if you are, you know, looking for your mother and I'm going to try to tell you that she's died, either you're going to argue with me or you're going to be traumatized again. So I might reminisce with you. Oh, tell me about your mother.
Tell me. So tell me a story about your relationship with your mom.
Yes.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you. We
You're
always
so-
have so much to talk about.
We do.
We do. This is, we may want to talk about this again.
I think we do. I think there's a lot that we didn't
Right.
cover yet. I'm not
There's-
even finished with the list.
No,
and
there's a lot of depth to this.
Yes,
Thank you for
absolutely.
coming.
You're so
Thank you for
welcome.
watching.
Thank you.
For the Young at Heart is sponsored by Duville Life and Wellness Community, a commitment to care, a legacy of compassion. This is Duville.